and I'm eager to visit your continent. As I told some of you, you invited me to your countries. I said, be careful what you wish for.
President Joe Biden acted on a promise he made last month at the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in Washington. He's sending U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen to Senegal, Zambia, and South Africa in the next 2 weeks to strengthen economic ties with the continent. Cameron Hudson is a senior associate with the Center for Strategic and International Studies Africa program.
And this is, I think, the first of hopefully many steps to engage Africans on the continent. But there's an overall message, I think, that they're trying to send as well, which is that Washington is present. And that message is not only for the Africans, but it's for Chinese, it's for Russians competing with the United States in these markets.
Senior Treasury officials say the purpose of the trip is to learn from and exchange ideas with African government officials, private sector leaders, entrepreneurs, and youth to deepen economic ties between the U.S. and Africa and chart out new opportunities for trade and investment. First stop will be Senegal to meet with President Macky Sall, the African Union chair, whose country is also a strong member of the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS. This is an opportunity for Sall to discuss unfair international trade practices, says Chisanga Chekwe, president of the Canada-based Masomo Education Foundation charity.
Among the foremost efficient cotton producers in the world are Benin, Burkina Faso, Chad, and Mali. 3 of these countries are in ECOWAS, and all 4 are in the AU. Here's an interesting thing. Despite their efficiency, they only contribute 3% to world cotton production. The reason for that is cotton production is heavily subsidized and really tends to distort markets.
Chekwe is also the author of books on African issues, especially in Zambia, where he says America sees an opportunity to counter Chinese influence with a new government considered pro-West.
It is seen as a government that is wary of China. One possible area of immediate cooperation is a restructuring of the $6 billion debt that Zambia has to China. And let's remember that makes up about 25% of the country's GDP.
In 2020, Zambia became the first African country in the pandemic era to default on its debt. But whether money is owed to China or financial institutions, Zambia is not the only African country with a debt burden, says Hudson.
Ghana, another, I think, very successful African country, really experiencing, a mounting crisis there. And so Washington is seen as partly responsible because, like it or not, Washington is seen as controlling the international financial institutions of the World Bank and the IMF, which have, pushed for more austerity measures on African states, kept interest rates for international lending very high to African states, and at the same time have been very critical of concessionary lending that they've received from China and Russia and others outside of the multilateral system.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary met with Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema at the summit last month, telling him that she was looking forward to talking about the international financial institutions' role in supporting Zambia's economic recovery and the need to work on a debt treatment for Zambia under the Common Framework, an initiative endorsed by the G20, as quickly as possible. Mariama Diallo, VOA News, Washington.